We are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the final hour of this week's version of the Long Voyage. We are out of combat. It was hard fought, to put it mildly, but yet again, the heroes prevail, despite being outnumbered.
What heroes?
Well, anti-heroes in that case. Prevail despite being outnumbered and in a certain amount of trouble. But you guys are still standing, and that's what matters. And yes. So, what do you are right now? You are in fact alone in the courtyard, and nobody has started firing out of firing slits in the main keep yet. So you have a little time.
Right, let's go find what we came for.
You do have one slight problem. Ren is in no condition to go anywhere.
Then I'll carry him.
Right, you carry him.
Upsy daisy.
He does grin when you lift him up and goes, "Oh, this is so undignified, but thanks."
Oh, don't worry, I'll carry you like a princess.
Hey. He's he does thank you for bringing him along, and
You've got to teach me that kind of magic.
yes.
You could teach him honor too. He just keeps walking.
And you get to the building you needed to go to, and enter, and nobody is stopping you. No more guards are getting in your way. They're all, they've all retreated to the main keep.
They're all being smart about it.
Yeah. And you get in there. There are some servants who see you guys and flee, screaming, because dangerous, and you're covered in blood.
I think some are more covered than others.
Yes. And they so you make your way. Obviously, Ren points out where you need to go. He's been here before, so he points out where you guys have to go to. And when you get there, there's the rooms are kind of airy, but when you do get there, Li Ling is not alone. There are two other people there with her.
Right.
One of them is a young man, tall for the locals at least, well built, fully armored, except he's not wearing his helmet. That's standing on a table. And his armor is of exceptionally good quality. You can see that from here. It's it doesn't take much to put two and two together, but before you really have a chance to do so, Ren does point out to you that that's actually Jung. That's the Lord's son.
What's he doing in here?
Yeah, that's Ren is well, he doesn't actually ask that, because he just points to the other person in the room and says, basically those two are there, and then the third person enters the room at that point. And she puts a bow on the table next to where she enters. And smiles at all of you when you enter. And here's the thing. You all recognize her.
Oh.
Do we now?
Yes, you do. Because last you left Eileen, she was back at the establishment where you all stay.
I'm guessing she's not dressed in her usual tailor's fare at this point.
She does at that point. She's got her hair loosened. You know, basically her hair has been, instead of just hanging loosely, it's, you know, she's been running, so it's a bit wilder than it has been when you've seen her before.
Yeah.
And there are a few differences to her. It's undeniably her. There is no question it is her. But she's also... let me just give you a moment here. I shall in a moment.
You shall.
I shall, in fact, in a moment. Here we go. Let's see. And she looks towards you, and in a new tone of voice that you haven't heard before, say, she says, I think it's time you got the young lady out of here.
Huh. You're quite the convincing actress.
Thank you.
You have a friendly breeze.
I don't think I've ever been called that before, but I think I might adopt that nickname.
I wonder that anybody in this city is who they seem to be.
Most people are who they seem to be, but
Not the interesting ones.
Yeah, I've seen far too much evidence of the contrary. Maybe it's just me.
maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Well, at least you. And at this point, Sindri softens and looks to Li Ling and says, "At least you are safe, my lady."
She gets up and walks over to each of you in turn, and she bows before every single one of you. And then she looks back towards first towards Jung and then towards the sword, and she doesn't actually say anything, but she just, you know, waves a little to both of them. And Kanashi just, you know, looks at Jung as well and says, I don't think I need to remind you that I expect you to be a considerably more honest man than your father, or I will be back. And I also expect you to come clean and be honest about what happened at the front. Your father, in his actions, caused the death of 3,000 perfectly decent, for the most part at least, innocent young men, because he was a coward and a failure. I know you are not a coward. I expect you to not be a failure. And then he just cants his head slightly, walks out. And the man by the table looks pale as a sheet.
Ylva stands a little awkwardly. Should I put your emissary down?
Kanashi looks over his shoulders as he's about to leave the room and says, yes, maybe that's a good idea. I'm sure he will be safe here with you, Lord Sung. And Jung he nods and says, absolutely, I will not let harm come to him. And then Kanashi / Eileen says to the rest of you, says, when you get back to Lanwan, please do give Lord Bow my absolute best regards, and inform him that sadly I cannot return to his domain, that I will need to find some other place to hide from unwelcome eyes for the foreseeable future. However, I don't see any particular reason for me to worry about how he runs his lands. He's a good man. Please, he says and looks at all of you, please do continue to have a very good time in the Empire. Something tells me that one day I will have interactions with your kind again. You are honorable people. I appreciate that. That is a good quality in anyone. Oh, and by the way, I've been having some strange dreams. They've included you ever since I met you back in Lanwan 3 months ago or so. 4 by now. Not months, but 10 days. He uses 10 days, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this one too. When we first met, I've been having some very strange dreams. I have been seeing a woman in my dreams coming on a ship like yours, except it had one black sail. Just a black sail, unlike yours, which had stripes. She goes ashore. She doesn't look like any of you. She has your hair color, she says, and looks to Frothy. She's shorter and slighter than any of you. And wherever she goes, ravens follow her. And blood drops fall from their wings.
Persisting urge to pull out notebook and take notes.
Well, Wilbur looks slightly confused.
I shall take my leave. Do with the information what you will. And on that
Thank you.
note,
Safe travels!
the sword leaves the
You
room.
wave.
Exit stage right.
Thank you for your company. It has been most enjoyable.
As the
And
sword
he's
leaves-
gone.
Yeah,
Yep.
as the sword leaves in the bag, there is a snapping sound and like ow, ow.
Yeah, you're basically getting rid of the arrow.
Yep.
Yep.
If it's any consolation, Gilfy, I did separate his head from his body with a blow from my hammer.
If I swear I'm not going to get my head cut off in the presence of nobility, am I?
No.
In that case, I can say this with confidence. I have seen far too much shit tonight. I need a drink.
I need my notebook.
Ilva
Yeah.
puts Ren down on a soft cushion somewhere.
He nods at all of you and says, I don't think I will be traveling any further with you.
Aww. I can carry you.
No,
She
it's
grins.
fine. He says, I think I'm going to stay here for a while. I think you should bring Li Ling to safety. I am certain that Lord Song here has a way out of the castle that does not take you through a throng of panicking people out front. And the young man nods and says, I do, and I will show you the way out, and then I will go and address the people, and they have to get used to some new things.
Yes.
I think Thrody pats the man on the back in a friendly fashion. I'm sure you can do great.
I'm not sure if I will do great, he says, and looks at Frothy with a crooked smile. but I do intend to do better than my father.
Nah,
That's a good goal.
aim for
Yes.
greatness. At least if you fail, you land in decent territory.
There's some wisdom in that. I could do that. By the way,
Hmm.
he says and looks at Frodi. You're not an Oni, are you?
I mean,
Yeah, he
I've
is.
been called
No, he's
one,
just
so
a,
maybe.
He's not. Sindri just
He is.
says,
he's just
He
ugly and
is
he
not.
doesn't bathe. So, yeah, as close as
I do, in fact, bathe.
Occasionally.
I.
More
You,
than a sentry.
you, anyway,
We had better get going, he says, and gestures for you to follow him.
hmm.
I do have a slight question.
Of course. Well, you can walk while.
Already looks to Ren.
Yeah.
Seeing as you won't be coming with us, and Eileen just went out the door, and I imagine Arching's still back in the town, how will we find where we're going?
I think, well, I know, he says, that if you go out the main gate and follow that road, you will get there, because that road leads to the Imperial capital.
We're going all the way to the capital?
No, but almost.
What's the name of the city we're going to?
It's not a city, it's a small town where you will meet him. It's about a day, maybe a day and a half from the capital. It's one of the last stopovers, so to say. They have a very good inn. Excellent food, fantastic drink. Expensive, very expensive. He says and shrugs apologetically. But it is very, very good. And Ling will meet her fiance there, and they will, well, he will bring her from that point, and you will be free to go wherever you want, whether it's back here or further along for more adventures. I sort of imagine that you would want to go back to your crew,
Hmm.
but yeah, that is entirely up to you.
Well, I have enjoyed your company too.
Yes.
So
We
have
shall
I
be.
with yours. I admit you are not what I first expected, and I mean that in the best of ways.
Likewise, you are small, and still you fight like an ice reaver.
One day I hope to see one of those things.
Well,
Long
hopefully
march
in a
south, you
dead
might.
state.
Anyway, he says you had better get moving. The
Yep.
His lordship needs to go and address the people before they tear down the whole keep, and he needs to show you out first.
Right.
So he takes you, Jung takes you along, and shows you a way out, which goes through a secret passage underground. And he says, I do hope, he says, that you will not tell others about this thing. Just,
What, the entrance?
yeah, the secret passageway.
Of course.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I would not. Yeah.
Yes. As frustrating as it was personally, considering we almost died, we should apologise for the fact that a few of the men of the garrison fought us, and we had to defend
He
ourselves.
shakes his head and says, I will make sure that their families are well taken care of. On that, he said, they did their duty at the time. I'm sure we didn't
Of
know what
course.
was going on. It is
No,
a
of course.
regrettable situation, but nobody is to blame.
You already sound like an improvement to your father.
I really
I-
hope I will.
I don't know how much this means right now, but we were met by a man outside. He said it was not the mist. Could you imagine?
Well, that is correct, because it was the sword
He
if it
was.
does.
I was about to say,
He
considering
was
that.
very insistent on letting it be known that it wasn't the mist.
No, I mean, considering that. Considering that the Sword of the Dove has literally just unmasked himself and
Yes.
taken responsibility for it, it goes without saying.
Yes,
Yeah, well, we
indeed.
did give him his word that we would tell him it was not the mist.
Mm-hmm.
I have not done so.
It's not every person in the Empire. It's in fact very few people in the Empire who ever get to see the sword. So I consider that a singular honor. And he looks
so-
at you basically as he opens the door so that you can get through the passageway. And he looks at you guys and says, "I do see that as an honor, but more than anything." And this is going to make me sound like a horrible person. He says, "More than anything, I'm glad my father is dead."
Well, if it's any consolation, I hope mine is dead as well.
Well, perhaps as a life goal, then, you can strive to be so good a lord that the sword will want to visit you on your deathbed with a congratulations.
That is not a bad suggestion. I shall have to find a good wife, and unfortunately, I cannot go back to Nari.
Well, you should at least talk to her.
I will. You
Yeah.
you better get going.
Yes, we should.
He waits until you're all in the hallway, and then he closes it behind you. He's given you some torches, obviously, so you can see where you're going. And then, you guys can pass through this passageway. You do get up outside the city walls, and obviously it takes a little while before you can actually get back into the city. You have to spend the night out there, but it's not really a problem. Li Ling doesn't complain or anything. She doesn't, she can't speak, but she doesn't seem unhappy about the whole situation. She through the evening, she seems to be incredibly fascinated by the stars above.
Well, Thrody does have something he wants to discuss with anyone nearby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little confused.
How
Why,
so?
what?
I thought the sword was supposed to be a man.
Yes.
But,
Kana, she is a man.
but Eileen was not.
I mean,
No,
I mean, I know it's not a common thing, but you struggle with the concept of a man pretending to be a woman.
I suppose that's a good cover. There must be some convincing magic then.
I mean, possibly, or not necessarily magic, but certainly trickery, sleight of hand.
I don't know if you noticed, but some of the men in this country looks very hard to place if it wasn't because of what they were wearing.
I have noticed that's most of them, if they haven't grown a beard.
I mean, it is strange. I mean, even Gilfie even doesn't quite look like he could pass for a woman, even if he's shaved.
Oh, poor Gilfie.
But
Try.
I mean, aside from the disguise, maybe Kanashi prefers it that way.
Nah,
I'm guessing
it'll
if
always
you're
be
looking-
Eileen to me.
If you're looking for a male sword, you would never question the female tailor.
That's what I'm saying. It's a smart disguise. And since I spent more time with Eileen, that's probably how I'll think of
And also,
her.
I would like to say that I do admire Sindri though. Getting his sweet sword for a sword. Aiming high, man. Aiming high.
Those are some aspirations.
Out of character, did Sindri fancy? I can't
you
remember.
did say that.
Yes,
you did say
he
that
did.
he fancied Eileen.
He fancied Eileen and tried to spend a lot of time near her.
Probably, and
Alright.
yep, and Kanashi didn't even do the courtesy of commenting on it. That's how little he. That's how little she thought of him.
At least we now know why Eileen was never reciprocating any of the man's attempts.
I mean, technically it was, partly it was Eileen, it was also, is it Mori Tamiko, who was also the village darling for a lot of people, but yeah.
Yes, it was between the
But-
two of them.
But I would say there is a plenty fish in the sea, but I don't think there is that many sharks that you can aim for.
If you go into wooing the Raven Lady, I want to be there when she decapitates you.
Ilva goes quiet.
Mm.
Sindri, the sword tamer.
Sindri's eyes just cross, because poor Frothy has put a mental image involving Gangario in his head that does not belong there and shouldn't be there.
I imagine that might also be why Ilva went quiet.
I just remembered that we have one on the ship who really had the hots for Island.
Yes.
You mean aside from Sindri?
Yeah,
It
don't
was-
you remember?
Wasn't Eileen as much as...
Bebranda really, really loved her.
Yes.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
No,
God.
let's not crash his dreams.
Can I be the one to tell him?
no, Frothy!
Come on! I'll be gentle. I'll just tell him she was a sword and a man.
You do that. Crowley, I
No.
say this in the kindest possible way. You do that, and I will, as gently as possible, remove your manhood and feed it to you.
That's fine with me. I just want to be the first one to tell him.
Manhood.
Also,
Why don't you just focus on one type of sword for the time being, Sindri?
despite your protestations, it wasn't so much Eileen that caught my attention.
It was her craft, I mean.
No. And Sindri doesn't elaborate further because the point was he developed, if I remember correctly, he'd actually developed a crush for Li Ling, which obviously he's not going to say considering that she's right there, but
Yes, and quite young.
and quite young. So the point is that he's not going to talk. He's so yes. If I don't know, he just doesn't have luck. Most of my role-playing characters, apart from I think good old Habil from the Legacy of Our campaign years and years ago, most of the role-playing characters I've had the last couple of different campaigns have been utterly useless with women.
Well, I would say that your werewolf certainly wasn't useless with women. He just happened to find
Terrible luck with them.
You know, no, but you know, it's like that old song, "Looking for love in all the wrong places."
Or in case of werewolf barking at the wrong tree.
Yeah, it's also the reason why the cowboy has shit in his mustache.
Oh, don't! Let's just go to a break now, shall we?
Cheech and Chong for the win.
Ladies and gentlemen of the listening audience, this is a service announcement. The players also have to put up with a lot of crap from their GM as well.
Literally. Apparently.
Anyway, point is that Sindri is basically, it's basically just
Confused.
confused and trying to nip the situation in the bud. I mean, yes, he will be the one to he looks to Frolly and says, "I will break the news to Vibranda gently, and I won't, unlike you, Frolly, I will not take some perverse pleasure in breaking the poor man's heart."
Nah, you're dumb. Maybe it'll stop him from singing.
I doubt it. He'll start singing lamentations to which we will all weep.
Speaking
What
of men,
did-
For a different reason.
Ilva?
Say you.
Gilfa said something.
I was just trying to ask. Speaking of men that could pass for women, what are we doing about Acheng? Are we leaving him in town?
No, but we have to stay here for the night.
Okay.
We'll go pick him up tomorrow and see if he's ready to leave the funhouse.
I mean, let's hope we don't have to sneak.
He probably ain't.
Yes, I mean, let's hope we don't have to sneak into the city again. I mean, Ilva might knock half the city down trying to do that.
Just stop trying to sneak.
Ilva sulks and goes to look at stars with Leeling.
Yeah.
Did warn you.
Yes.
Yeah, Gilfy will be like, okay, and finish prolonging this. Like, anybody can help me with this, and he points to the like broken arrow shaft in his chest. Like,
Actually, I wanted to talk to you anyway, since you're the only other smart person here. I'll help you.
Fuck you, Frody.
You know it's true.
No, I think we'd have to disagree on that.
Anyways, Gilfy, how do I help you, and what do you think of what Eileen told us about her dreams?
swords have hours of prophetic dream.
I don't know.
It seems to be aligning with all the thing that we are hearing about the Red Raven. And
So what I was thinking, this woman sounds like she might be from Tier Glass.
might be.
I mean, she's small and she has my hair color. A lot of people
Yeah.
in Tier Glass had my hair color. But they're
Not
small.
yet.
There were a few already, but not many.
A few.
Many people in Tier Glass have my hair color, and they're small. I don't imagine the Southlanders will shrink over time, so...
Well, then we kind of missed our mark.
Well, if she comes here, maybe that's after we've conquered Tier
You
Glass.
know, the thing about the visions is that they could happen tomorrow. They can happen in 100 years.
Well, at the very least, a few years will pass before we can conquer Tier Glass. She did arrive in one of our ships.
The visions usually don't work on the regular time scale.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm guessing it's the future.
I assume so. We are probably first Southlanders in the Lotus Empire. So, yeah.
How did you spell future again?
He showed him. He shows him.
Right.
While you guys are talking, by the way, Ilva, you sat down with Liling. Was that correct?
Yep. She
Uh,
went stargazing with Leeling because the
yes.
others were being evil.
And what about Sindri?
Is actually trying to while Frody is having a fantastic philosophical conversation about the Sharvan saga with Gilfy. He's helping Gilfy try to get the arrow out of
Oh
him.
right,
since-
yes, of course.
Since I mentioned he has first aid and naturalist, so
Yes.
one of those has got to be somewhat useful.
Yeah, absolutely. That helps. You can get it out. You have all the time in the world, so you don't have to roll anything for it. You know, it's
But the point
It's
is,
fine.
that Sindri can keep his mouth shut and work on that while they talk.
yes.
So.
Yes.
I imagine Frody's help is mostly asking Gilfy to spell things for him.
Yes. While you do that, Liling is actually pointing out specific stars. And she's got this little bag around her throat, on a chain, with some small pieces of parchment and some charcoal, so she can write a bit. Being able to communicate with people. And she points out specific stars, and then she jots them down on one of these pieces of parchment one at a time, and then she connects them and draws the vague outline. So she's showing Ilva constellations.
Ooh. In that case, Ilva will offer her the inside of her shield instead. It's bigger.
Oh right, yes, that's definitely. She's perfectly happy to do that. As you said, it's a bigger surface, and she will use that to point or to draw some of these constellations relative to each other, so where they are on the night sky. And then she stops after a moment and frowns and looks up at the sky again, and then she looks back to the shield and begins to jot down some points that she seems very hesitant about.
Don't know this one?
She nods. Clearly, that's exactly it.
Is it because you've never been told, or what?
She looks a bit confused and shrugs, as if she's not quite certain, but you do realize she has this slightly glassy look in her eyes. And then after a moment, she starts connecting the lines on this on this new drawing, basically, that she's that she has just made. And it has, let me just see how many that will be. How many that will be. It'll be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stars in this one. And it looks like a square and a diamond shape. The square on top, the diamond shape on the bottom. And then she connects those, and then finally she draws and I'm just, actually, you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to bring you over to this again. Is there? I can draw it for you. That makes it so much easier. It's not a square, it's a rectangle, obviously.
Let us see.
And she draws these together, like so. And then there's this. Oh, oops. If I could, it's not cooperating very much.
Doesn't need to be perfect.
No, but it needs to be reasonably good. There. Those. She draws those and she looks really confused. And, it's clear she doesn't know what that is. She looks at you. Again, she has this completely glassy look on her eye. Or on her face.
You're alright.
And then finally she takes the charcoal and makes one more line. Like so.
Yeah, that looks like a ship from the front.
And you just as you say that, you feel the whole world swirling around you, and everything goes pitch black for a moment. This is not the same feeling as the other visions you've had. This is not the Raven Lady trying to communicate with you in any way. You can tell the difference. But you're standing on top of a cliff. It's black, or the color of the stone is very dark. And you are looking over familiar waters. You are certain that this is near Lanwan. You've been here before. You haven't been up to where you are right now, but you've definitely seen this area before. There are landmarks you can recognize. Lanwan looks nothing like what you're used to. It's small and decrepit. Just a few dozen small houses. It does not look anything like what you've visited. This friendly, welcoming, large town. Nothing like that at all. There are 2 or 3 buildings that look slightly larger. There's one you can tell from a distance is some kind of workshop. And as you look out over the ocean, you can see a ship, and it's clearly a Southlander vessel, and it's a huntsman's ship. It's got a black sail. There's no question this is a huntsman's ship. And right at that moment, you have it comes close to the coastline, and it does beach, and only one person gets off. You can't really tell who it is from all the way up here, but just as you see this person going ashore, and you're pretty sure it's a woman, and she goes ashore in pretty much exactly the same spot where you guys came ashore. And just as she does that, in front of you, a huge raven appears out of nowhere, and it attacks you, scratching at your face with its claws. And suddenly poof, it's gone, and you have blood streaming down your face, and you reach up and you can see your palms are they're covered in blood, and again you can hear the screeching of hundreds of ravens. And then it vanishes, and you're back where you were before.
Huh. I wonder if Kanoshi also got attacked by a raven in his dreams.
That's a good question. Liling is looking at you. The glassy look on her face is gone, and she's reaching out and gently, nudging you. And the rest of you guys, by the way, have also noticed that she's quite far gone, and you do notice this because about half an hour passes,
Yeah, okay.
and she's just sitting there staring into empty space.
Is there any way to determine if anything of magical nature is happening?
You can... Well, let me see.
Yeah, let me see. I have a
Let me see,
cult
let me see.
system. I guess I have magery.
Yeah, there is something happening, but you're not quite sure what it is.
But, I mean, a lot has happened to us, so probably
Yeah.
best just let it happen.
Yeah.
Is what Brody says.
Yeah.
And then I suppose he
When
puts some sort of cape over her and asks someone if they want to play anything.
it should be said that by the time Ilva comes back around, she's been staring, unblinking, for half an hour. So basically, when you do come back around, your eyeballs hurt a lot.
Ow.
Yeah, blinking hurts like all bloody hell. But it's also something you kind of need to do. Liling looks very worried. She has been, she has come over to the others and tried to get your attention because Ilva is behaving strangely. And when you then come back around and you blink, obviously when you do that after having not blinked for a long time, tears rise. It's not because you're actually crying, it's just your eyeballs adjusting.
Eh.
Yeah. So tears rise and begin rolling down your cheeks, and you don't really notice anything untoward, but the rest of you, those of you who are looking, if any of you are looking, the tears running from Ilva's eyes are the color of raven's feathers. They're pitch black.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I imagine that Thrody will probably be looking because I actually think he'll have sat down, his back against hers,
Yeah.
just, for company and whenever she gets back.
Yeah.
You're all right, Ilva.
Except from hurting eyeballs, I'm fine.
You're crying black.
What? Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, Goofy just
He
like
takes one of tears on his finger and shows her.
It is black. At least dark.
What? Did you see anything?
No, I occasionally cry black.
Okay, did you see anything?
I think I saw what Kanishi always dreams.
And that is...
The red-haired woman coming in on a huntsman's boat, jumping off, then a raven attacked me on top of a cliff.
I think that is new.
Yes.
I'll have to write it down. Gilfy, spit in her eyes or something. They look like they're hurting.
No spitting in my eyes.
I don't know. He's the Healy guy.
I don't think we are at the technological state that we have eye drops, so it's like, go. I don't know what's the...
Oh, sorry, please. God, please.
No, I don't, I personally don't know what remedy on the, dry eyes would be, probably,
No. It's basically she needs to blink a lot.
Yeah.
Eye shut for a little while.
Yeah. Exactly.
Rehydrate the eyes.
Yep. So.
Which is weird because my eyes are running because I fucking have a cold.
Seeing as you have to spend the night outside the city walls, I'm guessing you guys are setting up some kind of guard shift, rotation thingamabob.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. But
Also Paxley Ling in her warm and cozy cloak.
she looks very grateful, and it's obvious she thinks of you guys as, friends. She feels completely safe with you. That much is obvious. She goes to sleep and just, conks out and, snoozes. And so my question is, do you all go to sleep? Or, at some point? Or does anybody, stay up? Let me try again. Is there anybody who's not on the guard rotation?
I don't think so.
I don't think we're enough that we can skip anyone.
You probably could. My reason for asking is that Gylfi and Frodi are still, kind of hurt.
Oh, that's true.
Ilva doesn't need to sleep as much.
Exactly.
And I think Sindri will probably have lent his sleeping skin and his nice warm cloak to Li Ling for now to sleep in, so he'll be taking first watch anyway.
Yeah, and then so basically him and Ilva can take, can stay on watch, and Gylfi and Frodi can get a good night's rest and actually get some health back.
I think Frodi starts to protest, then realizes he's protesting having a nice night's sleep, and then just agrees instantly.
Yes.
And
I don't want to sleep. Oh, no. Wait. Good night.
and you just hear Sindri mutter, and you think I'm the stupid one.
Goofy's Goofy's probably at the beginning. It's like, yeah, I'm fine.
No, you're not. Sleep.
Go sleep. You take the first shift?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Ilva goes laying near Li Ling, in case someone is stupid enough to attack.
Oh, I know. Gylfi pops one of the, just ignites one of the incenses that he got into the glass, and he kind of gets a couple good whiffs before he extinguishes it.
Yes. The
one that made Sindri smile in his sleep.
Yes.
You so you guys do get some rest, and as the night progresses, those of you who are awake, nothing happens. The most interesting thing that happens is a badger that comes too close and "Oh no, I'm not going to," and then walks away again because people. And that's really the most fascinating and interesting thing that happens all night is this grouchy batcher that comes along.
Yes.
Mushroom.
But for Frothy specifically, while you are asleep, you are suddenly standing on a big. You're standing on the bank of a lake. It's in a cave. Clearly, you can see a ship in front of you. You can see a ship, and as it's kind of, it's dark, and then you realize it's the Fagafair that you're looking at, and there's a woman there. She's close to the ship.
Well, I want to be close to the ship. I approach if I can.
Yeah. When you get there, you see the skeletons on board. You see lots of skeletons on board the ship. It's moored. It looks like it's in perfect sailing condition. But you do recognize some of the equipment on board. You can see, you recognize Weybrander's helmet, for example. He's a big man, so it's even for a Southlander, he's fairly easy to recognize. You recognize Grani's sword as well. It's an outstanding weapon, so it's fairly easy to see. So yeah, you recognize various crew members, and others it's harder to tell, but yeah, you recognize that. But again, the ship looks like it's in absolutely perfect condition. There's no sound here.
Is there any apparent cause of death?
No, not really. They look like basically all of these skeletons are arrayed quite nicely on the ship. They're lying between the oar benches.
It's not something you would do before you push it out and light it on fire, is it?
Nope, it's not. That would be that would be something akin to a deck having been placed, and then you would pile on gifts and grave goods and so on, and you would have wrapped the dead in some kind of shroud and placed them on top of a fire, basically a bonfire.
Alright. What of the woman?
The woman, when you get over there, she vanishes before you get that close, but she reappears. When you have checked the ship, she reappears and looks at you. She's short-ish, thin, got red hair. She looks at you with no small measure of interest.
When you say small-ish, is that like, Southlander short?
Oh, for a Southlander, she would be very short.
Okay, so she's probably non-Southlander.
Probably not. No. She looks at you for a long time. Just doesn't say anything.
Well, I tried to greet her.
She seems a little surprised that you can see her. And she says, "Greetings. I cannot say I'd expected to meet anyone here.
Where are we?
I'm not quite sure. I think it's a dream. At least it's a dream for me.
Me too.
So we meet in dreams."
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Thordy.
Frozen. Well, I shouldn't be surprised, I guess. You're a Southlander. I'm the Raven.
He clearly, what? Okay. The Red Raven?
I don't know. I know I'm the Raven. And You have some magic. I can feel it. You have some magic.
I guess that means you do too.
Of a sort. You could say that. Why are you looking for me?
We have to. You're important.
Right. I'm important. That's new.
Well, prophecy says so, it's gotta be true.
I suppose. Prophecy is... Well, Southlanders have prophecies, we have prophecies. I think everybody has prophecies.
Are you from Tier Glass?
I am. The thing is, though, here's the thing to think about. Keep that in mind. I'll give it as a free thing to consider. If everybody's got prophecies, and all those prophecies say we're going to win, then some prophecies must be wrong. So how much stock do you place on prophecy, Frothy of the Southlands?
Well, I suppose it might be more like a battle plan, and whoever follows the plan the best wins.
I think that's a clever way of looking at it. So prophecy is more of a guideline than an absolute.
Well, I haven't given it much thought, but perhaps.
And yet you're chasing these dreams, these prophecies.
Well, if the plan for winning tells me I need to get you, then it might be a fool not to get you.
But you can't get me.
Why not?
Because we're divided in time by 800 years.
Thordy clearly takes a moment to consider that. I'm going to need to write that down, because, well, swords are long-lived. They should know then.
Indeed. But here's the thing. If you are looking for me and I know of it, then yes, I think I've learned something today. That's interesting.
What have you learned?
I have learned that somebody is playing a very long game. A very long game indeed.
Well, I mean, are you thinking of the powers?
No. No, I'm not. You see, when I am here, the powers are, let's just say people are turning their backs on them. Imagine going back out there and fighting until you die, and then your sons will fight until they die, and their sons, and their sons, and their sons, for another 800 years. People are tired of war.
I imagine it gets tiresome after a while, exhausting even.
People are tired of being part of a game. What is it you call it? TOEFL.
Yes.
It's a good game. It is an excellent game. I enjoy it.
Ah, me too.
I should probably let you, I don't know, See to your friends?
Well, I'm not currently busy.
No. But I am.
Ah.
The fundamentals will remember. Yes, the fundamentals will remember. She makes a she furrows her brow as she says that, and then she looks back to you and says, I think there's a lot of pain in both our futures.
Yeah.
Call that your personal prophecy, Frothy of the Southlands. You need to make a choice to live honestly or die a lie.
His jaw tightens.
There is no shame. None. And then she just moves her hand in a almost in a dismissive kind of way, but it's not that she's dismissing you. She's dismissing herself. She fades and just turns into smoke and blows away.
And as she does, Thrody recovers enough to say, please let us find you.
And as you turn back around to to the ship, the crew are all standing there looking at you, except they've been dead for a very long time.
Well, you've certainly looked better.
They don't answer. That none of them answer. It's it's a feeling like you're looking at a whole crew of Draugr. and then Grani walks out in front. Not Ormer. Grani walks out in front and says, and he comes halfway down the gangplank. He looks at you and says, you do not belong here. You are yet with the living. You do not belong here, Frothy. And then he reaches out in this bony hand, basically mostly just, skin stretched over bones. And he just touches his index finger to your forehead. You fall backwards into nothingness and sit up bathed in sweat. And short of breath.
Probably with some sort of yell.
Yeah.
Morning, Frothy. That didn't look pleasant.
It was. Where's Gilfy?
Sleeping right there.
Right. I shake Gilfy.
Ah, come on.
Gilfy. Gilfy.
Gilfy farts, he says.
Ilbak, bring me my notebook. I need to write this down while I can remember.
Here.
Gilfy.
Oh, hey.
Just another few moments.
Gilfy, wake up or I'll burn off your hair.
I'll put mushrooms in your stew.
Okay. Ilva, can you
No amounts
wake
of
him up?
magic can save you from the shits.
thought he is stunned. And then he starts scribbling. Because what the fuck?
Brilliant.
Bilba's just covering her face in her hand. Oh, God.
And I think on the note of all of you coming back around and waking up little by little, we shall end this week's episode with 4 XP for each of you, because that was close and fun and epic at the same time. So 4 XP, and for those
I don't
of
know
you
what you're talking about. I'm fine.
and for those of you who are struggling in combat, I yet again say strength is the way to go.
Yeah, look at Elva. She only lost 1 HP.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many things I want to buy.
Yes. And for
Yeah.
sure.
How much HP do we recover from a full night's rest?
How much is it? It is healing. Let me just see. Resting should be here somewhere. Oh, resuscitation is not quite it, you know. I'll look it up. I'll look it up when we're done. But you know, for the listening audience, I will say thank you for listening in, and hopefully we will see you next week. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog if it can subscribe to YouTube.
Or cat.
Click the bell.
Or cats, because some people like cats.
Does this channel have a bell?
And birds!
If we have a bell, click the bell.
Yes, you know,
Bell.
we need more subscribers, and we're shameless about it. But we will see you guys around, and for us here at CharismaToAC, until next time, bye.
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 Bye.